Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we're very serious as chaos is taking place in Moscow tonight and in all of Russia as a coup attempt is underway by the Wagner mercenaries, Vladimir Putin, and the Kremlin facing now maybe their biggest challenge while trying to fight a war against Ukraine. Let me tell you all about it. I've got some breaking information, even some up-to-the-moment information for you. First of all, a quick shout-out for www.noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. Reign in wealth like King Charles with a gold IRA from noblegoldinvestment.com. Just as King Charles' magnificent crown symbolized his wealth and power, you could fortify your own financial kingdom. Imagine the confidence you'll have when you know your retirement funds are backed by a tangible, proven asset, gold, and an asset that's not at the mercy of a very unpredictable, unstable stock market. A crown may not be included with this, but instant future free of financial stress and worry will come. It's like royalty. Enjoy the choice you have. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, the realm is yours to command. Fend off those concerns about economic downturns and let your wealth thrive with timeless security and precious metals. And this month, they're giving away a 1/4 of an ounce gold standard bullion coin issued for the first time with King Charles III's image on it. Amazing. It could be yours if you set up a gold IRA or roll over your 401k, $50,000 or more. You can get this free coin from noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. Now pick up the phone and call them at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. And tell them that Pastor Paul Begley sent you there. All right. Wow. Yes, it is crazy what's going on right now. Let me just tell you more about it. Of course, the Salvation Station's in full swing. Last night's broadcast with Mike from Around the World was absolutely jaw-dropping. If you haven't watched it, you have to. We've heard more people about this show responding how great it was than of anyone we've ever done with Mike on a Thursday night. You don't want to miss it. Check it out. Now, also, while I'm talking about this, let's go straight to the information that we have received on the situation in Russia right now. Here's what we have. I've got several pieces of information and also some contacts. But the Wagner mercenaries have launched a coup attempt on the Russian Federation government. And now the Wagner mercenary boss is facing an arrest over the incitement to the armed rebellion. According to reports out of Latvia, Russia's Federal Security Services this afternoon announced a criminal case against Wagner's mercenary chief, Prigozhin, accusing him of incitement of armed rebellion after he declared an open conflict with Russia's military leadership and called on Russians to help join his 25,000 Wagner fighters against the defense minister Sergei Shoigu and other top commanders. Now, Prigozhin, whose private military company helped Russia seize the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, Russia's only significant territorial gain came because the Wagner mercenaries took the city for Russia. But they've accused the Russian military today of carrying out a strike on the Wagner camp. And he appeared to threaten Shoigu, declaring this scum will be stopped. Now, at least one senior general, Vladimir Aleskvu, the deputy head of the Russians' military intelligence, has accused Wagner's chief Prigozhin of attempting a state coup. But there was no evidence of an attempted overthrow of the government, or is there? Let me check that out. In a rare late-night statement, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that President Vladimir Putin had been informed about the situation and that all necessary measures were being taken. Security was tightened in Moscow at government facilities and key infrastructure, and the Russian National Guard and security forces were put on high alert, according to TASS, the state-owned news agency. And then special services and law enforcement agencies, namely the Defense Ministry, Federal Security Service, the Interior Ministry, the Russian Guard, constantly report to the president in a round-the-clock mode on the measures taken in context of this implementation of this earlier instructions. According to Peskov, he said in a statement early Saturday morning, so it's already Saturday in Russia. Now, the bizarre, chaotic events were the latest sign of the damage that Vladimir Putin's war has put on Ukraine and how Ukraine has inflicted on Russia. Over the last 16 months, the country's economy is battered by Western sanctions, talking about Russia's economy, and hundreds of thousands of citizens have fled Russia. That's a conscript driven last fall, even as the military campaign in Ukraine largely has stalled and Putin's claim of annexation of Ukrainian territory has fell far short of reality. Now, the announcement of this criminal case by the Federal Security Services of Russia, which is the FSB, which is the old KGB, it's really the KGB, has signaled that Prigozhin could face imminent arrest for comments in which he declared that he would lead a march of justice against the enemies in Russia's Ministry of Defense. The Wagner leader denied that he was trying to do a military coup. But if you take 25,000 men and you think you're going to take down the Secretary of Defense and the leaders of the Russian army, that's a coup. Okay, that's a coup. And Prigozhin has been in running months-long feud with defense leader Shoigu and other regular military commanders, including over complaints that Wagner fighters were denied sufficient ammunition. But Prigozhin's comments late Friday amounted to an extraordinary hostile challenge to the Russian military authorities and suggested that the dispute was on the brink of spilling into an open warfare with Russia. In a series of furious audio messages, Prigozhin accused Shoigu of flying to Rostov in southern Russia, specifically to launch a missile strike against Wagner's soldiers before fleeing the area. And the Russian Defense Ministry responded swiftly to Prigozhin's threats, denying those claims that the military had struck the Wagner camp, and calling it informational provocation. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to carry out the combat missions on the line of contact with the armed forces of Ukraine in an area of special military operation. Now, so there is an arrest warrant out now for Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Mercenaries. Now, I have more information here I find very, very important, and I want to get that to you right now. Here's what else we're finding out. According to Amir Safari, which you guys know has excellent, he's former IDF intelligence. He is tapped in with the Mossad over there in Israel, and he's also an excellent author as well, and has a great reporting. And so I can certainly say that this guy's very accurate. And here's what he's reporting, and I want to thank Israel Hall for getting this to me. Breaking news: war inside Russia is underway. This is according to Amir Safari. The Wagner Group's commander, Prigozhin, publishes his statement. He says that Russian army has shelled the Wagner's camp. He said he is moving his units to Moscow to punish the military and to restore justice. And he urges the military not try to stop his units. And he threatens to kill anyone who gets in his way. Now, wow, the Russian Ministry of Justice and the FSB, which is the former KGB, confirmed that they opened a criminal case against Wagner's mercenary chief Prigozhin on charges of an attempted coup. Maximum sentence for him will be death. That was just released a few moments ago, okay? And then it doesn't stop there, guys. According to the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, President Putin has been briefed on the situation, and all necessary measures, as I said earlier, have been taken, according to Putin. And Putin has begun an impromptu address of the nation tonight. And Rostov, the city center, the National Guard, has been deployed there. Okay? So these are... and then we have this just come in. A planned fortress to protect vital facilities, jam cell phones, and restrict normal civilian life has been enacted in southern Russia and in Moscow. Matter of fact, new army recruits without any training are being armed and sent to southern Russia. Are you serious? Guys ain't even been trained. Put a uniform on them, stick a gun in their hand, and send them to the front line. Russia has issued an arrest warrant for Wagner's mercenaries chief, Prigozhin. He's charged with mutiny. Okay, so these are some of the latest information coming into me. There is more. It's a very fluid situation. It's taking place as we speak. An extraordinary situation has developed in Moscow. No doubt about that. And so we continue to monitor this very closely because, wow, Russia's in a war with Ukraine. This thing's about ready. Now it's starting to implode within the Russian Federation. You know, Putin likes to use these hired guns, the Wagner mercenaries. They're brutal. They go out and recruit fighters from ISIS and from other parts of the Middle East and Muslims from different countries, and he brings them in, okay? And you know, you have to understand, Putin likes to use these guys as hired guns. He likes to use the Chechens. He likes to use other groups. But the problem with that is, if you don't fully pay them, if you don't fully keep them with enough food and supplies, if you don't give enough ammunition, and then if you take a shot at them, for whatever reason, then now they become your enemy. And now you have a fractured, and that's what I want to say right now. The Kremlin looks like the wheels are starting to come off the wagon, okay? The wheels of the Kremlin are starting to come off. It's incredible. Now, I also have a little bit more news on Prigozhin, just so you know. Who is he? Just who is he? Well, he is the high-profile, provocative mercenary leader with a reputation for trolling media outlets. Prigozhin has led the private Wagner group involvement in Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. His history with leadership in Moscow dates back for decades. The Wagner Group is an organization. It's a private army of militant mercenaries recruited from all over the world that have worked alongside the Russian army during the country's invasion of Ukraine. Wagner's early origins appear to be in 2014 when the conflict first broke out. He was part of the Little Green Men, or what's called in Ukraine, these were supposed to be Russian separatists, but really what they were hired mercenaries, mainly from the Wagner Group. They also helped put the guns to the head of the people and convince the people of Crimea to side and say, go ahead, we'll become Russians. It was because Prigozhin and his guys had guns to their heads. Prigozhin said on social media that he sought to build a group of fighters that could defend Russia's interests in the region. The group has been tied to conflicts in Libya, Syria, and several other African countries. The Wagner Group, these are hired murderous guns. The paramilitary force has seen explosive growth during the Ukraine war, with tens of thousands of fighters now under his control. And as the chief of the Wagner Group throughout the conflict, Prigozhin has frequently clashed with Russian military leaders. He has published videos that contradict the Russian narrative of a smooth military operation. He often argues that his forces have led the fight in Ukraine while questioning the competency of the Russian military. And in May, he recorded a video alongside uniformed dead bodies, cursing leaders for the lack of preparedness. So Prigozhin really is a warmonger. He's a warlord, really, a hired mercenary leader who would kill you in a heartbeat, and with brutal tactics. The Russians have hired him. They wanted him to help them overthrow Ukraine. The problem is, he says that the Russian military is not up for the challenge, that they're not even close to the same level of aggressiveness or combat warfare, that he has a bunch of special ops and guys that he's recruited that are the best of the best from around the world. And he's had very successful campaigns every place he's gone. He's paid very well to do it, and he pays his soldiers well. Having said that, I think we're starting to see the wheels coming off of the Kremlin, coming off of Putin's regime, coming off the Putin boot scooting, shooting, nuking Putin. I mean, he seriously has got a problem. And could America be behind it? Absolutely. There's no doubt that NATO and along with the United States, which is, of course, NATO, as well as the United States, you're right, Russia isn't going to fall. I'm with you. I'm not saying they're falling. I'm saying they're under an attack by this mercenary group. I don't think these mercenaries of the Wagner group have the ability to overthrow Putin's entire government. I don't. But he could cause a absolute major headache. He could cause tremendous problem, and he could actually break some of Russia away from Putin. He has enough arms, he has enough military might, he has enough combat operational tactical ability that he could take a chunk out of Russia and say it's his. And you would have a hard time taking it back from him, because he'll get the support now. You have to understand, this guy will get the support by NATO to go after and wreck Putin's world. You do know that. This guy wouldn't do this on his own if he didn't have financial backing from somebody. You would not bite the hand that feeds you unless someone else is going to feed you more. And in this case, I guarantee you that NATO, along with the United States and NATO combined, are in the process of buying Wagner away from Putin and turning Wagner on to Putin. It must be a lot of money. It must be a lot. And we're talking billions with a B for Prigozhin to make this move. Where did that money come from? Go look and check with the United States Congress at how much money the Biden administration just sent to Ukraine. Okay? So this is how the winds of war work. This is how warfare really works. They don't line up like the British and the Revolutionary. We don't stand over here and everybody fire at one another in a straight line. Those days are over, way over. It's no longer the jungle warfare of Vietnam, or not even the drone fighting of the war on terror in the sandbox. No, we're talking about literally buying armies to fight against you. And that's exactly what's happening. So keep a close, in my opinion, I should say that again, it is my opinion. And in this case, and it's not just my opinion, I do have some other information that's showing me that that's a high probability. Let's use that word. So Putin's in a jam. He's not going to go down, but he could get hurt so much that he may have to back off his campaign with Ukraine and pull back and rethink this whole thing. What does this do with Bible prophecy? It puts the entire six trumpet war in Revelation 9 right in slap dab in the middle of this thing. This is why I wrote the book, Revelation 9:11. I teamed up with Pulitzer Prize nominee writer Troy Anderson. The two of us come together with this collaboration, writing this book called Revelation 9:11. God gave it to me, said, write this thing. I went and got Troy to help me. And we talk about the Russia factor. It's unbelievable that this is happening right now. It's going right along from the pages of the Bible. Whether you want to read Ezekiel 38 or you want to move yourself into Revelation 9, you got to know that Ezekiel 38 and the sixth trumpet war and this whole scenario, and it's tied to the Middle East, guys. This thing's tied to the Middle East. You'll see. Israel will be right in the middle of this thing before it's all said and done. And this is an incredible situation. Putin is being backed into a corner. He's got a rebellion on his hands. He's already got a very disenfranchised following, because the Russian people are not happy because their sons are coming back in body bags. They're not happy at all. So we're in the end days. We're in the last times. We're in the final days. Give your life to Jesus Christ, folks. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. I'll keep you up to speed. Dark days. Serious dark days are coming.